Hello, my name's Ryan, and today we're going to be playing a little bit of Nomadic, a solo tabletop role playing game of sci fi outer space exploration by Fari RPGs. Nomadic uses the Breathless system, which is an RPG system I discovered recently and really adore. I loved it so much that there was a game jam happening right after I had discovered it, and even though I had just finished writing my first game and probably should have taken a break, I got really excited and ended up writing my own. But that's not what we're talking about today. I want to talk about Nomadic because it's very cool. I'm a person who struggles to stick with solo games as much as I like them. But Nomadic is a good one that kind of got its hooks into me and that I've run a few times here. So I wanted to walk through it for folks who are curious, but sort of wanted someone to guide them through a little bit before they hop in. Now that said, I'm going to do like a couple things that are not rules as written by the book Nomadic, because there are some interesting things that I had been playing around with, and they're cool. And Nomadic is a good game that allows you to sort of fold them in. So I'm going to do that, and I'll explain when I'm diverging from things. So first of all, just like a quick explanation of how the Breathless system works. You have typically, different Breathless games will change this a little bit. 6 skills that you will be rolling, and in sort of the standard layout that you expect these days in a lot of indie RPGs. There is a roll for failure, for a partial success, and then a success. And the way it works in Breathless is that you will have a die associated with all of your skills. The lowest you get is a D4. 3 of your skills will just have a D4. And then 3 of your other skills will be at D6, D8, and D10. The thing is, whenever you roll your skill die, it degrades at that point. So the first time you roll your D10, that's great. You have big, strong dice. But then the next time you roll that skill that is your D10 skill, you will be rolling it at a D8. This is what I really love about Breathless. It is a system that does, you can make any game you want in any system. I think Breathless is really at its best when you are using it for a game that tells stories of desperate characters or characters who are in survival situations or are outgunned, outnumbered. They're heroic, but they're not advantaged in some way, or it's easy for them to wear down, or their equipment is not reliable. Basically, any game where you just like want the characters to get their teeth kicked in, Breathless is a great system for running that, because it represents that sort of like scrappiness and desperation and that slow wearing down of your resources really, really brilliantly. So in the case of Nomadic, we have muscle, skulk, dash, learn, tinker, finesse. And these are all things that are great for doing sort of outer space exploration that we're doing. The premise, briefly, is that we are explorers leaving from a climate-ravaged Earth, very science fictional, looking for a new home. And spoiler alert, you don't find it. Nomadic has a sort of melancholy, fatalistic is unfair, I think, but by its nature, sort of your character will not succeed. You either keep going on looking for a home, or eventually, your resources are worn down, and you find a grave for yourself on some strange planet that maybe no one will ever know about. No Man's Sky is definitely one of the big inspiration points, as you may have guessed. I'm a person who jumped into that game day one. It's incredible now. Back then it was good, but it was a problematic time for No Man's Sky players. But this game really captures, I think, some of what was incredible about those earlier days of No Man's Sky, where it was very focused on the exploration, because a lot of the stuff like the base building and racing vehicles and stellar communities didn't exist back then. And sort of the like lonely meditative elements of that are really preserved here in Nomadic. So let's talk about, we'll jump into character creation first, and we'll sort of hit things as we go. And this is the first place where I'm going to get wacky. So I have put together my own just like quick little character sheet here in Fari app. I don't think there's technically an official Nomadic sheet just yet. But there's a Breathless sheet. You do just like a couple little edits like I've done here, and you've got exactly what you need. I'm using a character that I've been running for a few games, so as you can see, she's not in the greatest shape. We may see her come to her end here today. That would be interesting. I've dropped all her skills down because I sort of want to go through character creation process, which is super quick, with you, and I want to do something a little different. So I found this really lovely hex flower life path generator here. Um, on the Rise Up Comus blog, Josh, who writes games, put this together. It's sort of intended for games like Mothership, so it isn't like an exact one-to-one fit for what we're doing with Nomadic, because Nomadic, really, you've just got your 3 skills, and that is the bulk of your character creation variation, is what your 3 stronger skills are going to be. But I kind of love this hex flower. I know it's sort of oriented towards more of a Star Wars setting. Nomadic sort of implies that we only really have Earth, or if we've got some off-world colonies, they're small and not really sustainable for the whole population. So it's not a perfect fit, but this is a very cool way to create your character. It'll require a little interpretation on our part, but we're going to use it. So the way this hex flower starts off, the inner ring here is going to be the first sort of step in our life journey. And I'm just going to do a D6 roll for this, since there are 6 spaces. And from there, then we branch out, and whatever hexes are adjacent in the second ring and then third ring and so on are options that we can choose. And then there's some interpretation in the text down below. So let's just give a quick roll. I'm going to do everything today in Foundry just because I know Foundry really well, and I've set it up, and I have a few of the rollable tables are already put in here. I believe there's a Nomadic official website that has a few of the oracles. It's not every chart, but there are a few in there that you can roll. It looks really slick. So let's just do a little D6 roll. I've got some fancy, very unreadable dice here, but they read out down here. Okay, so a 4 on our... Where did I leave it? On our life path here. So 4, born on a world city. Okay, so like a Coruscant, big cosmopolitan ecumenopolis, I think is what you would call that, sci-fi terms. So we're born in a big city. Let's see, that's a 4. You're raised on a planet-sized ultra metropolis with both the haves and the have-nots. Gain history +2 and computer +2. So in Nomadic terms, what do we want to call that? History and computer, that feels like learn then should be our primary. Okay, so our initial is going to be D10. We go in, we're still at D10. So we haven't rolled anything yet. So our skill hasn't degraded. And of course, you can recover those skills back to their higher die by in Nomadic, I believe it's called refocusing. In base Breathless, it's catching your breath. But doing so invites a consequence from in Breathless. The GM, in this case, we're gonna let the oracles rough us up a little bit. Okay, I'm diverting here. Next, so born in a world city. Our next options are, and from here I'm just gonna pick: conscripted into military service, attended ultra prestigious university, involved in the black market. All right, let's do the shadier option, because I kind of like the idea of a space explorer who leaves because maybe they have some legal issues that are easily avoided if no one can get to you because you're light years away. So involved in the black market, what was that? Was B6. You became involved in the black market. Sometimes the black market is harmless. A few off-world luxury goods. Sometimes you had your hands on death sticks and other awful things. Gain a comm link with a Rolodex of known smugglers. 50% they're out of jail at any given time. 100 fake credits. Street culture +2. Okay, so this one's like a harder fit, I guess, for sort of what Nomadic is doing. That all sounds shady. I think that could be Skulk. So I think Skulk is our second high skill here. So this is our D8 skill. is going to be in Skulk. Then jump back to our Hexflower real quick. And let's see, jumping off from Involved in the Black Market, we have Wanted Hologram Plays in Every Cantina, or Owe Gambling Debts to a Mob Boss. Great. Okay, so this is so really leaning into being a criminal who is leaving to explore other worlds on behalf of humanity in order to not be in jail. Let's do Wanted Hologram, I guess. C8. And see what that gets us. That sounds good. Like really needs to get out of Dodge. Whether or not you know what they're saying about you is true. You're a wanted criminal. Gain a data jamming kit and hacking +2. Okay, so that to me feels like that to me feels like Tinker. So I think Tinker is going to be our D6 skill here. All right, great. So we characters created. We're done. That's it. You know, we picked pronouns. I've named my character Gale Arbor because I've been listening to a lot of Coheed, and that's a close to a name of a ship in the mythology there. So that's what we're doing today. Let's jump on over to Nomadic and just go straight to what our first exploration element is. You've spotted a new planet worth investigating. How do you feel as of this moment? Describe a memory from your time on Earth before you started your nomadic journey. So here's one place that I deviate from like rules as written a little bit, and that's just for inspiration purposes. And I'm going to go ahead and jump open, get us a new journal entry for. This is going to be the 4th planet I've done with this character, so we're going to call this planet 4. Crack open a new journal. I sort of like to know what the planet is first and let that color what that initial memory is. So even though it's technically step 2 is to do our planetary scan and to see what this world we're exploring is, I'm gonna hold off on step 1 and do step 2 first, just as some inspiration for what we're going to be describing. Describe landing on the planet. What piques your interest as you land? Refer to the planet scanner. What is the biome like? What kind of terrain is the planet mostly made of? Is there flora, fauna? What is the weather like in the region where you landed? So now we get to create our planet, which is a bunch of awesome rollable charts. So we start off here with our region scanner. It's the planet analyzer is step 1. Scan with 1d10. All right. Where am I at here? That's a 2. Okay, planet shows signs of life. Roll for region, wildlife, and flora. Great, that'll give you the view of sort of everything. So region scanner, we start with our biome is a D10. We are looking at, not a water planet, tropical forest. I ran like 2 water planets and got my butt kicked. So tropical forest is great. Loving it. I'm going to take some notes so I don't forget something. All right. So as we're building this, so we know tropical world. Next up, what's the current weather like? Sandstorm. Okay, so it's clearly when we mean tropical, I think we mean like very beachy rather than we have tropical forest. I guess we're near the beach though. I can see that it can be like very coastal thick forests. Sandstorm going on. Okay, great. So that's our first thing to think about being a problem. And then the overall terrain is a D4 here. That'll inform what we've got. A 4. Plains. Okay, so pretty flat. All right. So I think like a pretty flat, beachy, forested planet sounds about right based on what we got here. Plains. All right, and then our wildlife detector. So let's see how big a critter are we talking? 3. So about normal. I always sort of interpret as being about humanoid size. The type is bird. So big person-sized birds that happen to eat 6. Saprotrophic. I gonna have to give that one a Google. I know I looked this up once before, but oh, that's right. Feeds on decaying matter. That's right. It's a decomposer. Yes. Um, I should probably learn the science here. Okay, so carrion birds. Okay, so I think we're looking at kind of like a. I think we can interpret that as like a kind of turkey vulture, majestic turkey vulture of sorts. What weird trait does it have? I had furry fish on one of these. So this okay, scaly. So it's probably like a like a wyvern kind of a like the draconic turkey vulture equivalent. Um, and how do they typically? What's their typical like behavior? 6 hunting. Okay, so hunting for dead things. All right, so aggressive, decomposing. Let's write this down. Um, uh, hunting, decomposer, lizard bird, human sized. I'm forgetting. No. All right, so that's what we're going to be dealing with here once we go dirt side. And then flora, what are we looking at there? Very large, love it. Big trees. Okay, so giant. So we're talking just unfathomable, huge palm trees on this planet here. Let me double check to see if there's anything that I am forgetting before. I think we're wrapped up for our planetary and region scanner. Jump over to our main page here. Okay, so then jumping back to our memory. So I think Gail is probably reminded of she's probably taken a vacation out to Hawaii at some point. Why don't we say Gail took a vacation out to Hawaii just before she left on this trip, knowing that like she was probably never going to come back and maybe going to fail. She took that one last dream vacation with probably money that she got from doing illegal things. And just like did the most basic vacation person thing, went to the obvious place and sat out on the beach smashing daiquiris. And now she's going back to the beach in the middle of a sandstorm, and the trees are bigger, and the ship doesn't have a daiquiri maker. So that's what we're looking at. We're on to so we're about to go on to step 3. Here's the other little thing that I like to throw into it. So Chris McDowell, Electric Bastionland writer, created these Ask the Stars oracles for solo games that are really cool, and they don't always fit exactly what you sort of need in Nomadic. They're very much so in that sort of traveler vein where you're looking at commerce and what societies are here and organizational structures and things more often than not. But there are a few like really cool charts here. And it's just, I think, a struggle of my creativity. You have everything that you need in the core Nomadic book. You saw those charts. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Plenty to get you adventuring. But because I love a good chart and because I have a bunch of other oracles, I figured, let's throw another one in here just to make it a little weirder. So let's do atmosphere, and then landscape. I sort of like for give us a cool feature that's nearby that's very specific. Nomadic sort of implies that no one else is out here, so I don't worry about like governance or settlement. All right, so 2d12 for our atmosphere, and we'll roll that real quick, and then we'll jump back and see what we got. 12 and a 4. All right. So luminous dust. Okay, so we know it's sandstorms. So the dust must wherever the star is, it must be catching the dust at just like the perfect angle to make it all glow. So we're gonna have to land on a planet in a sandstorm that is like like a rave. Good. Love it. Great already. And then landscape. Let's do our 2d12 for our landscape here. 10 and 2. 10 and 2 will get us burning. Great. Cool. Thank you. What? No! Burning forests? Okay. All right. This is why I like doing this, because this is shaking things up an awful lot. What was going to be a like tough landing, but maybe chill trip on a vacation planet just got real bad. Burning forests. Burning forests, luminous dust. So I think it's clear. I think we've hit this planet, and I think probably the dust cover makes it so that the ship scanners can't tell us important information. And then Gail's going to get down here and realize this planet isn't a viable choice, despite lovely beaches, water, plenty of trees. Because I think our star is like getting too close or too hot and is like scorching the surface and causing all these forest fires. All right, so we're ready for adventure. We're ready for part 3. Explore the planet as long as you wish. When you have questions about the world or wonder if your nomad can succeed at doing any dangerous actions, use the game's oracles. If your nomad's action isn't directly involved in the question, use the question oracle to get your answer. If your nomad is directly performing something, we use the risk oracle to see how rough things are going to be when we're rolling dice. When you are done exploring, I'm just going to jump ahead so we know what our cutoff is. When you're done exploring and are ready to take off, make a resource roll to see how many resources you found while exploring. Add up the result on your character sheet. So we don't specify, we don't make rolls to see if we're like extracting titanium from something. That's sort of abstracted at the end. And then those abstract resources are used to recover what we have lost, recover our trackers here. That determine whether or not our story is going to meet its end. And we have some leeway in choosing what gets damaged. And there's some charts that give us some information about that. That's a little more specific. So risk. All right. Question oracle. We need the risk oracle first. Is just landing on the planet really risky? So the oracles are in a solo game are always here to help, but I think it helps when you're playing a solo game, since you're the game master and player, to be honest with yourself. I don't think we're rolling on this to see if it's risky. I feel like flying through a luminous sandstorm into a planet with burning, like it has to be risky. What else would it be? So I'm gonna roll it, and if I get a result of 2 to 4, we're bumping it up. It's going to be risky. I think what we're looking here to see is the landing perilous or just risky? 6. Okay, so it's just risky. So we're bringing the ship down into the atmosphere, hitting this sandstorm hard. What do we think landing the ship here is? Tinker, finesse. Honestly, I think the fine tuning of the piloting, I think finding a landing destination, I think getting through that sandstorm itself. I think that's. Oh, I put our D10 is supposed to be in learn, and I wrote it in dash, and that is not correct. I think that's going to be a finesse. I think we're going to have to roll one of our D4 skills here and reap the consequences. That's being fair with yourself when you're playing these games. Be creative if you can. I was thinking is there any way that we can push this to be learn? But I'm not thinking of one. So let's start it off rough. Okay, a 2 is so the 1 to 2 range is a failure. As you can see here, the checks are explained below. You fail and something goes wrong. Mark 1 box on the resource track of your choice. 2 boxes if the situation is perilous. Well, it's not perilous, so that's good. So if we mark 1 box on the ship, I don't get to show you very much of this game. So I'm going to mark a box of body here. And I think we're going to say the landing is really hard. And in order to preserve the ship, I think this has to be like a real rough landing. Maybe all power to like inertial dampening needs to go to saving the ship. And so, we're not chunky salsa in here, but the straps are not enough. And I think Gale is just getting banged around in the canopy. Let's get some specifics on what that looks like. Nomadic's got a cool table for when you have these complications to give you something a little more detailed about what it is. And sometimes you have to massage these to fit your circumstances, of course, but they're here to help you. And if they don't necessarily work for your circumstance, do something else. So 5, you feel like you are on fire as numerous parts of your body start itching. So maybe getting thrown into this like 9-point harness is the problem. Maybe just like the like harness burn from getting tossed around is what's causing all this like horrible itching on her skin. Now she's got to throw on her suit where she can't like reach in and scratch and go out there onto this planet that is gorgeous but probably not breathable and go stir up some trouble. Okay, so we've made landfall. We're probably on, some spit of beach outside a burning forest. All right, what are we rolling to save? We have to investigate. We have to search. We're explorers. We're here to do our thing. What is our role to get through the forest sort of safely as it's on fire? I think we're going into like take readings, right? So I kind of want to say we need to do a learn in here, and then trouble's going to come and it's going to have to be a dash. Let's see what the initial risk is, though. This is where our oracles really come in handy. Like, can I just walk in and is it just the upper canopy that's on fire, and so it's actually not that bad yet? And I can do a little work before it gets dangerous. Well, let's find out. I rolled a D12 last time. I don't know why. It's 2D6. That is not the correct dice I should have been rolling. 6. Okay, so it is risky. So I think it's the upper canopies are on fire right now. The lower canopies are kind of fine. We're going to go in with our equipment. We're going to do a learn. But something could happen while we're there. We could take too long. All right. So our learn is a D10. You'll notice that I didn't bring down the finesse. D4 is the bottom of the barrel for your skills in a Breathless game. They don't degrade any further at that point, typically. Let's give our learn roll here to sort of do our job. 7. Excellent. So that is well above the 5 through 6 that we need for a success. The game is tells us that if we're rolling well over the success range, sometimes that yields even greater results. That's sort of left open to you to interpret. I don't think this is so much higher than a 6 that it's like a significantly strong success. So I think we're making our way through through these burning forests, doing our scans, examining what's going on, taking readings to see if this place is viable, even though we pretty much have our answer based on all the fire and the horrible sandstorm. And I think we see our critters. I think we see our like carrion wyverns are surrounding some other creature. And we need to go investigate. And I think just because Gale doesn't know what their situation is, I think this is going to be a skulk. I have to drop our current learn is down to a D8. And I think going over there by them birds to see what they're eating. This is a place where I probably could check for the risk oracle first, but this feels risky to me. I think that makes sense. All right, so that check is a 4. On a 3 through 4, you succeed, but at a cost. Mark 1 box on the resource track of your choice, 2 boxes if the situation is perilous. We're running low on boxes, aren't we? I think it's mind. I think whatever we see is whatever they're tearing into is just like really upsetting to see. And I think given that Gil's clearly in a very desperate situation here and is trying to make the best of it and is already feeling pretty hopeless, I think this just throws her deeper into that hole. Just makes her all the more resigned to the fact that this place is probably going to be your grave. So I guess like what is it that she could see that would be jarring? Um, all right, so our story is that these nomads have gone out, to find a new Earth. That there are many of them out there, and presumably we can, when we send our little journals, our reports, we hear from each other. I'm not doing the journaling too intensely because I'm recording, we're talking about it. So maybe it's a nomad. I don't know. I don't know if that sounds cool. Let's see what the Oracle thinks about that answer. So roll 2d6, sum up the two numbers, and interpret the results. Our question Oracle here. So is it the body of a nomad that she sees? On 7, the answer is yes, but. So the but is sort of circumstantial. I guess it sort of moves away from what our expectation is. I think it's yes, but it isn't someone she knows. I think this is from like maybe a first wave of nomads. This isn't her like graduating class of nomads that went out, her cohort that she trained with. So it's very jarring because it's a dead human body, and because she knows that she's kind of wasting her time here because somebody's already explored this place and she's already committed these resources and taken on these risks for nothing. But fortunately, it's not so jarring because it isn't someone she's met before. All right, at this point, then, knowing that another nomad is here and you never wander too far from your ship, I think she wants to get to their ship. Or do we try and chase these birds away and maybe collect something of them to give them a proper burial instead of just leaving them a like torn apart corpse here on the beach? Yeah, we got to do the right thing. We got to like get rid of the birds, give them a proper burial. So our skulk is now down to D6. What am I going to do to scare birds? Okay, finesse, tinker, learn, dash, skulk, muscle. I think you just run at them. I think just run, scare them. You know what? Maybe they're not. We've said that they're not like hostile or territorial or anything. Maybe there is no risk here. Let's see what the risk Oracle thinks. We'll do our D6 and see if this is even worth rolling. It's worth rolling. It's risky. Thanks, Oracle. All right, we're gonna do a dash. I'm gonna do a dash here. We're just gonna rush them. That sounds about right. Okay, so we're marking off something else. Okay, body is the only thing that I have left before we're in really bad shape here. So I think not only do I not chase these birds off, but they think I'm here for their kill. So this is sort of the only situation in which they'll like claw me up. Let's see sort of what maybe we can get some interesting specific ramifications here for body. I know I didn't roll this for mind because it was pretty clear what was going on. Yeah, let's get a little inspiration. You feel like you are on fire as great. Oh, okay. So it's the itching again. Let's do a different one. We can always re-roll. It's our game. You did a bad move and you've sprained your ankle. Okay, so that's it. So I don't think they start actually getting their claws through my suit, digging into me. I think in fleeing from them, because this was a bad idea, she sprains her ankle real bad here, and can't keep moving. All right, then I think our friend is just going to have to stay where they are, which sucks. I think our next step is to find that ship. And things have been going so badly. I'm going to spend my determination. So your determination is a one-off that you can use that lets you roll with a D12 just to sort of push through adversity. Hopefully, it's a big die, but it's got a big swingy range. So to find the ship, we're just determination. We're just going to do, oh no, of course. Like I said, pretty swingy. So, You know what? We did. This is, like I said, be fair with yourself when playing a solo game. To be fair, we didn't check the risk oracle to see if it was that dangerous to find the ship. So I'll roll my 2d6. I realize I already rolled and we're retconning here a little bit, but it's no one can get mad at you but you. Oh, good. Oh, good. It was perilous to find the ship, and we really needed to succeed. Okay, great. So perilous failure. So we fail and 2 boxes if the situation was perilous. So I think let's say gear and let's say body. So this is something you need to double check in the rules, because I've never filled up all of them before. Resources are an abstract value that represents what you can scale. Oh no, sorry, that's the resource check. The resource tracks is what I mean. You have 4 resource tracks: body, mind, gear, and ship. When a complication arises, either as a result of you focusing, like I said, we could have focused to recover some of our dice. Things have been so bad, we didn't even get to that point, I don't think. Look at the fiction and decide which track to mark. You can also pick a random one and link it with the fiction later. I need to double check here real quick and see. Here we are. Make a choice. It's right underneath. If you need to mark a box and all of your resource tracks are filled, you will have to make a choice. Okay, so we do have the choice to lean on those remaining tracks. So the fact that we're totaled out on body and gear does not mean that our journey is over just yet. And I think what that is the ship is further away than we thought. I think we're having to move through the sandstorm that's requiring Gil to drink a lot of water, to patch her suit a lot. I think she's basically run out of everything that she's got in her pack at this point. And the exhaustion of taking that journey just wore her down, and we still didn't find the ship. If I reset here, we will need to mark one of our tracks, and we will be right at the door of failing our mission potentially here. We'll read a little and see that that's not necessarily the case. All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to refocus so that we can get back our determination, and we can bump our skills back up to their maximums, because I'm going to need that determination to get us out of here. I think it's become clear to her at this point that she just needs to leave, that like any further exploration is just not worth it here. I think now Gale is panicking. She didn't find the ship that she was expecting to find. She was sort of hoping that resources from there could have been useful. The luminous sandstorms have made it so that keeping her bearing personally has been hard, and is probably interfering with some of her equipment, the ship beacon. So I think Gale is lost, and I think our final challenge here is we got to get back to our ship, and if we don't get there in time, something bad happens to it. So that is on us to do our one roll. I'm going to use our one determination and try and get us back in one-ish piece. That was way closer than it should have been. All right, so that's a success. D12. What are you doing, D12? Get out of here. So that's a success. Gale will find her ship. She will get back, and she will call it on this beautiful death world, and head back into the black to find her next planet. This one ain't it. This one ain't the winner. This one was all bad omens and all bad stuff. So now that we've left a planet, you are done exploring and ready to take off. Make a resource roll to see how many resources you found while exploring. Add up the result on your character sheet. So our resource roll is a D20. All the dice get to play here in Nomadic. Are you kidding me? It's a 5. So we gain 1 resource. I have an older version of the game here, so it doesn't reflect this accurately, but you spend resources when you're not on planet 1 for 1 to recover your trackers. So I guess, I guess surviving this calms Gale down. I'll spend my one resource. Normally you would put it in here. There's a little box for resources. Nah. We're doing this right away. We're just going to recover her mind because we know exactly what we need to do here. I have just been rolling garbage all of my games. I swear to you, you can go for a long time in this if you don't roll trash like I do. So Gale's off, ready for her next adventure. Just to show you what happens if the unthinkable, the very thinkable in this case, had occurred. If you need to mark a box and all of your resource tracks are filled, you will have to make a choice. Abandon. You can't go on and you must abandon the mission. As a result, you will die in the coming hours, days, probably hours in her case. The cause of your death is directly related to the last resource track you marked. Make a last log entry to describe what happened and beam it. The game is now over. Or push forward. The alternative is that you push forward. You knew this wasn't going to be easy. You aren't going to give up. Leave the current system, fast forward weeks, months in time, and clear all of your resource tracks. You are now in a new system, make a new log entry, and find a new planet. So it's our story to control. You never find the new home, but you can always keep going, even when you hit that failure point, if that's the most interesting thing for you to do. So that's Nomadic with a few extras that really just beat the crap out of me here. Hope you enjoyed. Please check it out. Fari RPGs, definitely available on itch.io, itch.io. I don't know how you say it out loud because you're not supposed to say it out loud. Thanks for watching this. It went a long time, so if you watched it, I appreciate it. Get out there, grab Nomadic, go on your own journeys, and crying out loud, roll better than I do.